I know what you're thinking. My brain is addicted to failure? That's insane. Nobody wants to fail. We all want to be successful, happy, and feel the pride of accomplishment. But what if I told you that a primitive part of your brain is actively working against you, finding a strange sense of safety when things go wrong? Let me introduce you to Sarah. She's a phenomenal graphic designer. After years of grinding it out as a freelancer, she's one meeting away from landing a career-making client. The pitch is tomorrow. She's ready, she's talented, she knows her stuff. But tonight, instead of sleeping, she picks a completely unnecessary fight with her partner, falls into a 3-hour YouTube rabbit hole, and stays up so late she's guaranteed to be exhausted for the biggest meeting of her life. Sound familiar? This isn't a random lapse in willpower. It's a neurological trap. It's a deeply ingrained pattern of self-sabotage that yanks the rug out from under us right when we're about to win. Today, we're going to drag this pattern into the light. We'll explore the science behind why your mind betrays you, and most importantly, we'll lay out the strategy you can use to fight back. Does Sarah's story hit a little too close to home? Maybe for you, it wasn't a client pitch. Maybe it was the great relationship you suddenly pushed away for no clear reason. Or the promotion at work you were this close to getting right before you just stopped trying. Or that fitness goal you were about to crush until you mysteriously abandoned your routine. It's the feeling of being on the verge of a massive breakthrough, only to slam headfirst into an invisible wall. A wall that, if you're being honest, you probably built yourself. This is self-sabotage. It's any behavior or thought pattern that stops you from getting what you consciously want. It shows up as procrastination, perfectionism so crippling you never finish anything, or picking fights to sour a happy moment. For decades, we've been told this is some kind of character flaw, that we're just lazy, unfocused, or don't want it badly enough. But that completely misses the point. This isn't about a lack of desire. It's about a war in your head. A battle between your modern ambitions and an ancient survival system that is terrified of the unknown. To really get why you get in your own way, you have to accept a difficult truth. A part of your brain doesn't actually want you to succeed. Not because it wants to hurt you, but because it's trying to protect you by keeping you on familiar ground, even if that ground is a battlefield of failure. So why on earth does our brain do this? To understand, we have to look at how it's wired. Think of your brain as having a built-in alarm system, heavily influenced by a small, almond-shaped area called the amygdala. The amygdala is your brain's ancient threat detector, and its main job is to keep you safe by sticking to what it already knows. When you're in your comfort zone, getting the results you've always gotten, your amygdala is quiet. But the moment you aim for a bigger goal, your amygdala can misinterpret that newness as a threat. It doesn't distinguish between the fear of a tiger in the grass and the fear of a promotion with new responsibilities. To your amygdala, new equals scary. It pumps out stress hormones, making you feel anxious and doubtful, urging you to retreat to what you know. This starts a tug-of-war in your head. In one corner, you have the prefrontal cortex, the modern logical part of your brain that sets goals and dreams big. That's the you that wants to win. But in the other corner is the powerful limbic system where the amygdala is screaming danger. When you get stressed, the emotional brain hijacks the rational brain, but it goes even deeper. This cycle is reinforced by something called cognitive dissonance. The mental stress you feel when your actions don't match your beliefs. Let's say deep down you have a core belief that you're not good enough. When you start succeeding, it creates a conflict. Your actions, I'm winning, are fighting your belief, I'm not someone who wins. To resolve this tension, your brain will subconsciously nudge you toward failure, because failing aligns your actions back with your old, comfortable belief. As strange as it sounds, this brings a sense of relief. This creates a powerful neurological loop. Your brain, trying to protect you from the danger of the unknown and the discomfort of internal conflict, guides you back to familiar outcomes. Over time, that pathway gets stronger. Predictable failure becomes a known quantity, a state your brain understands. It's not an addiction to the pain of failure, but a powerful pull toward the predictability of the pattern. If this is starting to make a scary amount of sense, stick with me, because now we're going to talk about how to break the cycle. This might sound grim, but here's the good news. Your brain is incredibly adaptable. Thanks to a property called neuroplasticity, you can physically forge new mental pathways through your thoughts and actions. You can break the cycle of self-sabotage and build new habits that lead to success. First, become the detective. You can't fix a problem you can't see. The first step is radical self-awareness. Grab a journal. For 1 week, your only job is to observe your self-sabotaging habits without judging them. When do you procrastinate the most? What triggers that negative inner voice? By simply writing down the pattern. When my boss praises my work, I spend the next day scrolling online instead of getting ahead. You drag an unconscious reaction into the conscious light. Second, change the story. Once you spot a destructive thought, you have to challenge it. This is a core practice in philosophies like Stoicism. You can't always control what happens, but you can always control your interpretation. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm going to blow this," pause. Acknowledge the thought without judgment. Then, deliberately replace it with something more realistic, like, "This is challenging, but I'm prepared for it." Third, expand your comfort zone. Gently. Your amygdala is scared of big, sudden leaps, so make success feel familiar by taking tiny, manageable steps. Don't go from the couch to a marathon. If you're terrified of networking, don't force yourself into a massive conference. Start by sending one email to a colleague you admire. If you're afraid to finish a big project, just commit to working on it for 15 minutes. Every time you take a small step and realize you're okay, you're giving your brain new evidence. Fourth, visualize the win. Your brain has a hard time telling the difference between a vividly imagined event and a real one. Top athletes have used this for decades. Spend 5 minutes a day with your eyes closed, imagining your desired outcome in detail. But don't just see yourself succeeding. Feel the emotions. Feel the confidence of nailing the presentation. Feel the pride of crossing that finish line. We've covered some powerful ideas today. Breaking these deep-seated patterns isn't an overnight fix. It takes time and consistency. But these tools are based on real science. Understanding why your brain does what it does is the first step toward real, lasting change. For most of your life, you might have thought self-sabotage was a personal failing. It's not. It's an ancient survival program clashing with the modern world. Your brain isn't trying to make you miserable. It's trying to keep you safe the only way it knows how, by sticking to what it knows. We've seen that this pull to fail is a neurological loop, driven by a fear of the unknown, the brain's dislike of internal conflict, and a craving for predictability. But you are not a prisoner of your own biology. Your tools for freedom are right here. First, become a detective of your own patterns. Second, reframe your negative stories. Third, take small, consistent steps to make success feel familiar. And fourth, visualize the success you want. You have the power to stop being your own worst enemy. You can take the reins back from your ancient brain and consciously build a new reality. You aren't destined to fail, you are wired to adapt. Your adaptation starts now. So I'll leave you with a question. What is one small step you can take this week to consciously move outside of your comfort zone? Let me know in the comments. Let's hold each other accountable and start rewriting our stories together. Thanks for being here with the Stoic Quotient.